Well, it's a good job I've got two fully functioning legs, because from the 23-24 season, it looks like I'm going to be standing at St. James's Park when I go and watch the Toon. This week, it's been announced that safe standing is going to be introduced. It is going to be brought in on a trial basis. And guess which part of the stadium it's in? It's the part that I sit in. So we're going to be discussing the safe standing proposals, and it's going to get quite interesting. So make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black White Banter, you lovely, lovely Newcastle fans. I hope you're having a cracking week. The international break is pretty much over. I think Alexander Isak's got one game to play, and then the players are going to be fully back to training, and we can start looking at that huge game against Man United. The awful lot that they are, and hopefully for some revenge for that cup final. So the international break, as awful as they are, is finally almost done. But we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about Man United. We're not here to talk about any players or anything like that. We are here to talk about new plans that have just been released this week from the club that are meaning safe standing is going to be brought in at St. James's Park from next season. And this is an interesting video because I'm not going to be talking about it generally. Safe standing actually affects my season ticket seat. I am going to be one of the ones who is going to be standing next year. I've already had the email through today telling me that I am going to be, well, I'm not going to be without seat, but I'm going to not be able to see very much if I choose to sit down. And then obviously the options for me, which we'll run through in a little bit more detail in a second, to either change where I'm sitting or maintain a seat, with the risk that you might not be able to see very much. So I'm going to get through some different points on this. Now, my first thoughts. Do I like to stand at a football match? Yes. I'm an away follower. As anyone who follows my channel knows, I go to a lot of different away games. I've got lots of vlogs. Obviously, I was at Nottingham Forest. I'm going to Aston Villa in a couple of weeks. I love away games. And at away games, nobody sits down. You sing all the way through. The atmosphere is generally better. You get a bit rowdy when you score. You fall 5 seats forward. All that shiraz comes with an away game. Do I like the thought of now being told I'm going to be standing at St. James's Park every single match for 90 minutes? I'll be totally honest with you, my gut reaction is no. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I think partly it's because I've only ever known sitting at St. James's Park and then obviously standing in exciting moments, then sitting back down. But I also think, and I know the whole point of safe standing is to improve the atmosphere, is to give fans that opportunity to maybe sing a bit more, and that's only maybe going to help the players on the pitch and the general atmosphere in the stadium, making it a better experience. Do I think 1,800 people in St. James's Park stood on a railing is going to replicate anything like what we hear from an away game? I'm not so sure. No. And I don't want to move where I'm sitting from now because I'm not against standing as such. As I've just said, I do it at away games all the time. So I'm not at the point where I'm massively against it to want to request to move because I love my seat. I look out onto the Gallowgate. It's perfect. I wouldn't sit anywhere else. I like the people who I sit with as well, who I've got to know over the years. But I think I've sat down and really thought about this. And I think firstly, the location of where the standing isn't right in my opinion. I know the Gallowgate corner is where all the noise comes from in St. James's Park. That's why I like sitting there. But I also know the Gallowgate corner is a very sought after area for a lot of fans who've sat there for decades. And that leads me on to where these votes and these surveys were given in these discussions, because I didn't get a survey about safe standing, which is strange because it's ended up being where I sit. So I haven't had a choice in being able to say whether I think it's a good idea or not, which I find a little bit bizarre. Apparently 4,000 people completed the survey. You've got 52,000 people sitting in the stadium. So if that 4,000 isn't just that corner, which would make sense, why have more people not been asked to take part in this, even if it was on a bit of paper you complete on the way into matches? Season ticket holders get, I don't know, a bit of paper on the... There had to be some way of doing it, I think, to get more people's opinions. So that's the first thing that confuses me. The second thing is apparently it was discussed at meetings. So they had the fans, I'm assuming the Newcastle Supporters Trust, went and spoke to the club. I don't know how many people were at that meeting who maybe sat in those exact seats that were chosen. But what I'm also really concerned about, and this is what I really don't agree with, if 4,000 people did the survey, I would say, how many Newcastle fans go away from home week in, week out? Or at least, like me, maybe try and get to 12, 13, 14 away games a season. That's a different breed of Newcastle fan. That's a totally different breed of Newcastle fan. There are some blokes who've had a season ticket, I know, for 30, 40 years and don't bother with away games for travel purposes, for family purposes, for work, you name it. There's lots of fans who will happily go to home matches and watch the away games on the telly. There's a lot of YouTubers, if I'm being totally honest. Go on YouTube, there's not many who go to away games. I'm not going to name any names, but there's a lot. And I don't think this is fair on some of them. And what I'm really not happy about with this, to a degree, is thinking about the broader audience. I know at least 20 people that I could just look at. Not everyone I talk to who sits around my season ticket seat, who are old blokes, families with 5 and 6 and 7 year olds who have season tickets, they've sat there years, who are not going to be happy about having to stand. The lovely bloke, I'm sure he doesn't watch my YouTube videos, the lovely bloke who sits to my left is an elderly man. Well, if he does watch this, I don't mean too elderly, but he's an older gentleman, and he doesn't like it when people stand up too long in front of him because he likes to sit down. He likes to come to the match, sit down, watch the game, jump up when they score, and sit down. And he's probably going to have to move. I know 4 blokes in front of me to my right who they always share a Greg's pasty at half time. All the blokes who love sitting together, love coming to the match, they're going to have to move. The bloke to my right, lovely fella, comes with his grandson quite often. He's quite a little lad. He's probably not going to be able to see very much if everyone's standing. And he's probably, what kids are like, they get quite tired. And all of these people are having to move if they don't like the thought of standing for 90 minutes. And they haven't even been consulted on it. Their opinion hasn't been asked. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of their opinions has been asked, but mine certainly wasn't. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. And you probably think, well, Matthew, you're saying all this. What's your solution else? Otherwise, I think the location of this could have been different. So there's talk of St. James's Park bringing in safe standing in the away end. I think they've already done it. I used to sit next to the away fans. That's where you want the atmosphere to be created because it's the two fans having banter with each other. Would the safe standing have not been better in a less sought after area? So if anyone from the Gallagher wanted to move, because I know the Gallagher obviously has the back row, if you turn to the left where I sit the strawberry corner, you see the fans who stand the whole match, fair play to them. It's great. And they are probably where the hub of the noise comes from. But could they not have moved to a higher part of the stadium that's not as sought after for tickets? I know there's always level 7 tickets left because you don't get as good a view. So the Gallagher, the East Stand, the Gallagher corner, them tickets go straight away on general sale. Level 7 is probably always like the last of the last. We used to have a singing corner up there. I think the fact that they've gone in one of the most popular areas for older fans, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I'd be so curious to get the thoughts of the people who sit around me. But right now, as I sit here, yes, I like to stand at an away game. Yes, I've got no issues with standing for 90 minutes in St. James's Park every week next season. But would I also like to continue sitting down at the match? Yeah, it's not the same as an away game. A home game is not the same as an away game. It really isn't. And I know the whole point is to maybe change that, but 1,800 people is not going to make an absolutely rocking atmosphere when there's 52,000 people in the stadium. So the main issue I have on the back of that is the location of where this is. I think that could have been planned better. And I also want to know why I haven't been asked in a survey whether it's okay for my seat, which I've had, by the way, over 10 years now. A lot of this, in this exact same seat, why I wasn't one of the people consulted. Take them 1,800 people, once the decision has been made to bring in safe standing and the location's been made from the meeting with the Supporters Trust, ask each one of them people whether they want to be in safe standing, and if you get a over 50% vote yes, then go from there. But that's not how this has worked, and that's what I don't understand. I'm not going to sit here and slate the club. God, under previous ownership, we would have just rocked up and there'd have been no chairs in. Mike Ashley probably would have made money off selling the seats on Marketplace, wouldn't he? But I'm not sure how it feels, and I feel sorry for the older people and maybe the people who have families and kids who don't enjoy the match day experience as much, because they've never done an away game, so they don't even know that an away game you stand all the way through. I know when I go to away matches, there's people that still try and sit in their own seat. That just doesn't happen at away matches. You sit wherever the fuck you want, and you get annoyed by the people saying you're in my seat, mate. That's just generally an unwritten rule on away games. I feel sorry for them people, and I don't know how this is going to go. I hope I'm proved wrong on the atmosphere. I hope it makes it a million times better. But I don't see how 1,800 people, not even 5% of the stadium is going to make it absolutely rocking. I don't know. I find it a really odd one. But Newcastle fans, let me know in the comments if you're one of the ones affected by this, like me. Let me know what you think, whether you're happy. I would assume a lot of people are. Because, you know, standing up, all standing together, you can have a big crack. You'll probably naturally join in the songs that you hear out more, so that will amplify the noise a little bit. But I just think things could have been done better, and I don't know why the survey wasn't put out to a larger audience or put out to the people this is directly affecting. Because I'm not moving seats. I'm not sitting in some random seat. I'm not going, East stands an awful atmosphere. Level 7, I'm not taking my glasses to every match because my long-distance eyesight's shocking. I like where I sit. It's just a shame that I might now see some of the people that I like around me move. So it's a funny one. I know every club's doing it. Not all the Premier League clubs. Lots of Premier Leagues have brought it in, so it's nothing new. But I'm just not sure on the location. But yeah, I'm going to stop going on repeating myself. Let me know in the comments what you think about safe standing. And if you're a fan of another football club, let me know whether you've actually seen a difference in the atmosphere because of safe standing. I'd be fascinated to hear that. As always, Newcastle fans, if you've liked this video, drop down, give us a little like, whack that subscribe button because there will be videos coming up. Of course, there's going to be a match vlog for Man United because I absolutely hate them with every ounce of me. It's the fixture I look for every year. So that'll be coming up later in the week and the international break's over. But it looks like I'm going to have to do some stretches before home games because these legs are going to take a bit of a beating for 90 minutes every other week at St. James's Park. I'll see you on the next video, Newcastle fans. Away the lads.